Hello, everybody. I am back again, and today I wanted to do a One Piece tier list because I don't know, some random guy while I was scrolling social media was like, "These are the best One Piece arcs in order." I'm like, "No, these are the best One Piece arcs in order." And while I was talking to myself like an insane person, I was like, I might as well talk to myself like an insane person on the microphone. Alright, so here we go. Here's my One Piece opinions. I am notably an enormous One Piece fan. One of the biggest out there. Probably not as much as, like, the actual One Piece channels out there. But, you know, still. The series is peak. So I'm just gonna get going. Oh, I guess before I do that, this is who made this tier list. I'm just on Tier Maker, you know how it is. Alright. So I'm gonna do this in the order of which they appear here on the tier list, because, you know, why not, I guess. East Blue arc. Considering the next arc is... The way that they have this set up is actually very strange. But I'm assuming the East Blue arc is everything up until Laboon. It stops at Laboon. I'll give it a B tier. I don't know. I think it's good. It sets up the series well. I mean, it's pretty strong. It's not my favorite. I mean, it introduces us to our, like, main cast, which is nice. When they go to, like, reenact, like, Roger's execution, very cool. Oh, right. I will say, this has spoilers for the entire, series in it. There's no way I'm gonna not talk about the arcs when I talk about the arcs. Alright. So, yeah, I don't know, like, when Zoro gets his new sword, it's pretty cool. Also, when Zoro gets, absolutely RKO'd by Mihawk, it's pretty cool. I don't know, man. Like, it's fine. Like, the Arlong stuff, ironically, is probably, like, the weakest part of the East Blue arc, which I know is kind of sacrilege to say, but Arlong Park's kind of eh. Like, not that Nami's backstory isn't good, but, like, Nami's current story is just okay. It's good, but, you know, compared to the other things that happen in the series, like, okay, admittedly that one scene where Luffy puts his hat on her head and she's like, help me, you know, okay, obviously peak, but, like, come on. Alright, so, yeah, East Blue, B tier. Drum Island, I'm gonna assume, just based off how this is made, even though Baroque Works is technically its own thing, so one would think that the first encounter with Baroque Works on Whiskey Peak would be a part of Baroque Works, right? But just because it's in order, I'm gonna include Laboon and Whiskey Peak and Little Garden and Drum Island all together because, I mean, it's all there, right? It's all there, and I think it's really good. I think it's really good. I like Drum Island a fair amount. I like Whiskey Peak. Like, it's only like 2 or 3 episodes in the anime, but it's like it's pretty good, man. Well, actually, I'm remembering it as like 2 or 3 episodes, but to be fair, it is the One Piece anime, so it was probably like 10. But like, Zoro just like absolutely destroying everyone, and then Zoro and Luffy fighting. Oh man, it's so good. And Laboon is great. Admittedly, some of the context for Laboon doesn't come in until later, but we still love Laboon. We meet Vivi, you know, she joins the crew for a while. I don't know though. like comparing it to East Blue, which is like my baseline. That's why it's B, okay? This is how I rate things, alright? B is my baseline. For One Piece, if I was rating One Piece against things that were worse, well, maybe East Blue would be higher. You're just gonna have to just take my word for it here as we're going along. Drum, I think, also B. I think I like it more than East Blue, but it's not like... It's not incredible. Baroque Works, then, would be Arabasta, I'm guessing, or Alabasta. Pretty much everything after Drum up until they leave Alabasta. We love Ace. He shows up, that's cool. Smoker also has some of his better appearances here. Smoker's pretty cool. Crocodile getting defeated by Water Luffy. Pre-Gear 2 Water Luffy, kind of funny. Kind of insane if you think about, like, how the One Piece plot progresses from now. But it's really good. It's not my favorite arc, but it's really good. I like it a lot. We gotta love the super floaty wood. That said saves our boy Mr. 3. He is not our boy, by the way. We do not like him. Bon Clay actually though is our boy. Even though he's still kind of an asshole at this point. But you know, we like Bon Clay. Skypiea? It's pretty good, actually. I've been rewatching One Piece recently. Skypiea, when I watched it the first time, I thought it was okay. Like, sorta ironically, after watching the entire series, and then watching Skypiea, Skypiea holds up really good. Really well, I suppose, for grammatical sake. Yeah, I think Skypiea is quite a good arc, better than people give it credit for. I'm still putting it in B, but I'm putting it above Drum and East Blue. I don't know. I really like it. Like, NL's cool. The trials are neat. Like, even though most of it takes place in the forest, like the floating roads and like just like the way that the Sky Islands work, and Skypiea itself is just such a cool location. And I don't know, man. It's just really neat. And then you have like the Nolan backstory, which is really good. It's really good One Piece backstory, you know? It's kind of peak, honestly. I'm talking myself up actually, and I think Skypiea I like slightly less than Arabasta, but you know, I think I'm putting it in A tier. I don't know, man, with the giant snake that was the little snake, and then it became it's just, I don't know. I really like it. If you disagree, then sorry, I guess, but whatever. Also, actually, before I move on, Usopp has a good moment where he saves Sanji's life from NL, by the way. Usopp does. That's crazy. Just putting that out there for, like, later Usopp things where he doesn't do shit. Davy back. D tier was made for Davy back fight. I'm sorry, I love Afro Luffy just as much as you do. Okay? No, though. No. It's... Foxy's horrible. This arc is ass. Watching it makes me sad and mad at the same time. Make it go away. I don't want to see Long Ring Long Island ever again, okay? Water 7? I am saying this tier list pairs it up with, Enies Lobby as well. I mean, it usually is paired with Enies Lobby, so it makes sense. Yeah, I mean, obviously, peak One Piece, it's incredibly good. What is there for me to say that hasn't already been said? Like, Lucci is great, Frankie is great. Iceberg and his little mouse, very good. Yeah, I mean, the scene with, like, Kaku jumping over the city, iconic. I mean, everyone says, like, the worst thing about this arc is Luffy gets stuck in a building for, like, 5 episodes. You know what? Sure, I guess, man. But, like, man, the stuff in Enies Lobby, too, with freaking, with the Mary and and Robin being like, I want to live, you know, it's so good. And Soga King shooting the flag. Oh my gosh. And then also, it has one of Sanji's best moments as well, as a Sanji enjoyer myself, when he solos, like, the entire train until he gets gimped by Blueno. Like, so good, man. Like, and he's, like, standing at the sea train, like, dock with, like, his cigarette, and he's just, oh, it's great, man. It's peak Sanji. Love Water 7, love Enies Lobby. It's great, fantastic. Thriller Bark. I remember being a pretty big fan of Thriller Bark, actually. I remember watching it and being like, yo, this arc is awesome! And then going online and hearing everyone be like, oh, skip this one if you want to watch One Piece. This is a part skip for me. I'm just like, how, dude? Thriller Bark is great. It has a lot of really good character moments. I'm a big fan of Brook, personally. I like him a lot. Gets, like, there's the Laboon reveal as well. And, the Shisui, I'm pretty sure. It might not be Shisui, I might be thinking of Naruto characters now. But the, like, samurai from Wano that Zoro gets his sword from, they have that thing, and then Zoro has the other moment at the end, where it's just like, nothing happened. Bro, it's so good, man. It's, I don't know, man. And, like, hell, even, like, Nightmare Luffy is cool, and the way that they team up to fight Oars is awesome. Like, I'm a big fan of Thriller Bark. Granted, I'm still putting it here, but hey, you know, I still defend it. I think it's good. So, take that as you will. Sabaody. I'm going to, just based on how this is laid out. No, you know what? No, I'm putting Return in Fishman Island. Screw all you. Sabaody is fantastic still, even without Return to Sabaody. It's really good. Man. Like, it's such a shame for Brook, though. He's, like, he's been alone for, like, 50 years. He finally joins up with a new crew, and, like, a week later, everyone gets evaporated instantaneously by Pacifista. But, like, we get introduced to, Law, and Kid, I guess. And, you know, everyone else. What are they called? Like the 11 supernovas or something? I'm gonna totally get that number wrong, and people are gonna be like, fake fan, so I'm just gonna look it up. Not a fake fan, it is 11. Anyway. Although I do suppose me second-guessing myself will make you think that I'm a fake fan anyway. But whatever. I'm not. Because I really like One Piece, and that's all that matters at the end of the day, probably. Anyway. Right. Sabaody is really good. When Luffy punches, like, Charlos in the face, really good. Man. And then, well, okay, a lot of it, like, climaxes at Return to Sabaody, so maybe I'd need to have them together for it to, like, work as a complete package, but I'm gonna package Amazon Lillian with this as well. I mean, I don't know. Whatever I could say, I think it's really good. I like it more than Arabasta. It's a good arc. The Summit War. Wow. All right, this arc, because they don't have the prison in here, I'm scooping it in there. So we get Ivankov, we get Jimbei, we get Bon Clay coming back. Obviously Edward Newgate. The One Piece is real. Yeah, so this arc is incredible. I mean, look, I don't need to, I wouldn't put it above Water 7 Enies Lobby personally, but it's peak One Piece. Like, it's so good, man. Everything about it's so good, and he was so, it's so, like, heartbreaking too, when, like, Luffy saves Ace. He saves Ace, and, like, with Garp, he's like, he's gonna kill, alright, Sakazuki, I guess. Look, I straight up, I'm just like, wait a second. Surely I know Lava Guy's name, and I'm like, oh, he has a hard to memorize name, so I don't feel that bad about it. I'm bad with names in general, okay? Once again, I'm not a fake fan. I will defend myself on this regard. In any case, yeah, and Garp's like, I'm gonna kill him. Because he kills Ace anyway. He escapes and he still kills him. And it's just, it's so sad, man. And then everyone works together to save Luffy, and then Luffy's in critical condition, and Law saves his life, and then he has that moment with Jimbei where he's just like, I'm so weak, everything I do is useless, I'm a piece of garbage. And then he goes back and he's like, alright everyone, I'll see y'all in 2 years after the time skip. And I don't know, man, it's so sad, and it's so good. It's really good, and we get Luffy backstory, you know, which is like the first time in the series up until now, which is kind of surprising because he's the main character. But, you know, we do get some Luffy backstory, and it's really good backstory, in my opinion. I'm a huge fan of the Ace and Sabo, like, little mini arc that happens. It's so good. Anyway, Fishman Island. Alright, I'm including Return to Sabaody in this. So we have the fake Straw Hats included. I know it's kind of just like supposed to be, we've been training for 2 years, so here's a power trip arc. But they really, like, after seeing the Summit War, you really want this. I know a lot of people think that it's a little unsatisfying. Like, not a lot happens, but I think a lot happens, right? I mean, sure, Torty Jones isn't, like, a good character, and Vanderdecken is worse, but there's some good stuff. Oh, also, actually, as a Sanji enjoyer, I will say, this is Sanji's worst arc, probably. So... Sorry, Sanji enjoyers. He does show up and just die instantly upon seeing one mermaid, and then is out for the whole arc, basically. But, you know, we have Soul King. You know, when they first get back to Sabaody and they see Soul King, like, that shit is awesome! And then they see that, Kuma was guarding the Sunny for 2 years, and it's just covered in, like, scars and arrows and gunshot wounds and stuff. It's just, like, it's crazy. Like, ah, man, it's so good. Like, just thinking about One Piece makes me so happy. Oh, I know I'm glazing too much, but it's so good, man. I don't know. I like Fishman Island a lot more than other people. Probably about as much, probably a little more than Skypiea. Actually, you know what? Probably a little bit more than Arabasta as well. So, you know, there you go. Perhaps Sabaody is carrying a little, but I don't care. It's how the tier list is set up. I didn't make it. Punk Hazard. Alright, I love Law. I like Smoker. This arc kinda sucks. It's one of the few arcs in One Piece that I think just aren't very good. I don't know, it's just kind of boring. I like the centaurs, you know. I even like Caesar Clown. I don't know, a lot of the stuff around it is okay. It's just, maybe it's because I watched the anime before I read the manga, and I still have a bad taste in my mouth from how bad the pacing is. Essentially, like, the pacing in One Piece has never been great, but I think starting at Punk Hazard is when it started to get really bad. So we just have like 20 episodes in like Fire Island doing nothing. And we have like the samurai legs running around and we're like, what's up with that? We do figure that out at some point, and you know, I do like Kinemon. This isn't his like part where he does the most. But he's alright. I mean, I like him as a character. And then they rescue Momonosuke as well. And he is kinda bad, but he comes around. Momonosuke does come around. But I don't know. Punk Hazard's it's not my favorite. Dressrosa, I think is my favorite arc. Yes, sure, the pacing in the anime was really, really bad, but I do want to say this arc is so good that I think even if you watch it that way, it's still, like, the quality still shines through. Like, every single thing that happens is so good, man. Like, who doesn't love Doflamingo? I mean, okay. Let me walk that back a little bit. Everyone doesn't love Doflamingo, but that's a good thing. He's the villain. You're supposed to hate him, and everyone hates him, and they love to hate him because he's wonderfully written. And like Law's backstory, I think, is the saddest thing in One Piece so far. Actually, hold on. Maybe Egghead has the saddest thing so far, but I would say Law's backstory is probably the second most. And also, Sabo returns and sees Luffy. Also, there's a mini tournament arc, and everyone loves tournament arcs. And also, the dwarves are adorable. And, Mr. Pink? Baby Pink? No, Baby's a different character. That's like Baby 7. See, I'm terrible with names. But yeah, Senor Pink, there you go. And Frankie's thing is really good. Stuff with the bird cage is pretty good. We see Zoro use armament hockey here to fight Pika. Which is cool. I don't know, like, so many things are cool. We see Gear 4 for the first time, and when it first appears, I'm like, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life. I don't know, man. Dressrosa, it's awesome. Huge fan. Still kind of funny that Gear 4 Luffy takes on Doflamingo and pre-Gear 2 Water Luffy beats Crocodile, but that's just the way that shonen writing works sometimes, okay? We try not to think about it too much. But yeah, Dressrosa, probably my favorite arc. Also, I know there's not an A there, I'm just pronouncing it that way because I like to annoy people. Zoe isn't very long. It's also kind of boring. And also, I think the anime kind of makes Zoe way worse than it needs to be. Like, they spend so long on Zoe doing nothing. thing. Oh, there's good parts. Don't get me wrong. There's good parts about Zoe, but yeah, it's not it for me. It's just kind of. It's more or less just the arc that's like, we're gonna go to Wano. Whole Cake is great. It's a great arc. I don't know. I'm a Sanji enjoyer. I probably put it like here. Once again, context, before people hate on me and they're like, Whole Cake's worse than Fishman Island. I said it already, so if you didn't watch the whole video, that's on you. But I'm including Return to Sabaody and Fishman Island, okay? So don't come at me with that. But yeah, I mean, I'm a fan of Whole Cake. Sanji has really good characterization. He gets new backstory. Soul King has the whole thing. Actually, you know what? I'll put it here anyway. Yeah. I don't know. I think it's really good. It's a strong arc. We get the stuff with Pudding, you know. Jinbei finally joins the crew after way too long. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, surprisingly, there's not a lot to say about Whole Cake, but it is very good. Like, if you see it, you know why it's good. But it is sort of an arc where not a ton of things happen compared to other arcs. In my opinion. I mean, it's very much more or less we get to see Big Mom's Island and also Sanji backstory. That's the arc. But it's still good. Reverie, for some reason, is on here by itself, even though, like, half of the stuff that happens, like, around Drum Island and, like, Return to Sabaody is in its own arc, but the Reverie is on here. And you know what? A lot happens during it, I guess. It doesn't all happen before Wano, though, right? Doesn't it happen before and after Wano? Like, don't we get, like, a ton of Reverie stuff over the course of, like, the entire Wano arc? And it's kind of split up in a weird way? I know people are gonna be like, no, you're remembering it wrong. It actually works this way. Whatever. You know, we get a lot of cool lore stuff, I guess. I like some of the coolest stuff in the series, sorta. Like, at least from a story perspective, has come from Reverie, but it's not like real One Piece, right? Like, how do you even rate this? I don't know, man. A, B. I don't know, man. I'll put it here above Drum, I guess. Wano. It's really good. It's really good. It's hard for me, okay? Because I'm like, from like a story perspective, it's still really good. But I'm thinking, is it just objectively better than Sabaody? Like, I'm thinking A or S, right? And I don't know if it is. Like, but the anime carries it so hard. Like, the anime makes it so pretty. And the, like, last OP of Wano is so good. And the Gear 5 stuff is awesome. And we get a Robin moment, finally. Like, all of post-time skip, Robin has essentially done nothing up until this point. And then she becomes a demon. Which people are still talking about, like, what was that? Did she awaken her devil fruit? Is that just a thing she can do? Like, what even does the Hana Hana no Mi do? Who knows? But I don't know. Like, okay, if I'm just going off how much I enjoyed it, I suppose because the anime carried it so hard, maybe I put it in S. But it's not my favorite. It is good though. It's very good. And Egghead. Egghead probably has the saddest backstory moment in the series, I think. It's kind of like so sad though that it's a little over. Like, it kind of feels like it's beating you over the head a little bit with like a rolling pin. I don't know, man. Some of the best animation, once again, in the series, like the Awakened Lucci versus Gear 5 fight is awesome. I mean, there's some pretty good animation for sure. There's a lot of really good lore drops, I guess. So I would say Egghead, in a way, is just better Reverie because it's actual One Piece and not just like, you know, stuff is happening. Yeah, there's a lot that happens during Egghead, but Egghead itself kind of sucks, you know? Yeah. Like, sorry to say, but it's like a lot of stuff is coming together, which is good. Like, that's the good part of Egghead. And it's pretty good. I enjoy it a lot. But the actual, like, content of the arc, like, just Luffy and his crew doing stuff, has been pretty poor in my opinion. Like, Frankie did not get the character moment everyone wanted him to. I mean, he didn't get nothing, but it might as well have been nothing. There's a lot of Bonnie stuff, which, to be fair, people have been waiting on for a while, because a lot of the, supernovas were kind of undercooked. I don't know. I don't know where to put Egghead. Probably for me, like, here? Nah, I'll put it here. Like, sorry, I'm not an Egghead hater, I swear, but like, I don't know. Like, watching Egghead, right? Which has a lot of really good story moments. Don't get me wrong. Like, so does Drum, so does Thriller Bark, so does East Blue. Okay, B tier is not bad. But it's just, after watching Egghead and then going back to like pre-time skip One Piece, it makes you feel like you're missing something. Like, oh man, yeah, I remember when, like, the main One Piece cast were the people that I was having fun hanging around and not like the side characters. Like, I care significantly more about Kuma during Egghead than any single member of the Straw Hat crew, which I think is sad, in my opinion. But it's not on here because it's not done yet, obviously. But Elbaf seems to be patching that up again in a good direction, in my opinion. I think there's better Straw Hat crew character writing for sure, and less of them just standing around and making one-line reactions to everything that happens, because there's like 10 of them now, and Oda's just trying his best to try to fit them all in, and it's just not working, man. But I appreciate the attempt. There you go. There's my One Piece tier rankings for the arcs, at least, that are on this specific tier list. If you disagree, feel free to let me know in the comments. See you later. Peace.